Welcome to Kitco News. I'm Niels Christensen. We're at the Silver Gold Summit in San Francisco. Joining me today is Auryn Bebek, Executive Chairman of Auryn Resources. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Big news today. Best silver samples. In press release today. Tell me about it. Best silver samples in your career.
By far. We're working in Peru. We got this project called Curibaya. It was a segmented land position. Everyone knew there was some really robust mineralization here. It sits on one of the most prolific mining belts in the world. Serra Verde, Tocopala, Quellaveco, all the big porphyry deposits. It's also on the border of the epithermal belt. We went out there, we've been on the project for 10 days. Between what we've sampled and what we announced today and the historical sampling, 50 samples over a 4.5 square kilometer area are running from 200 grams silver to 14 kilos silver, which is by far the best silver thing I've seen in my career that I've had a chance to be part of. I'm sure there's other incredible silver deposits, but from what I've got to see, or we got to see as a technical team.
What happens next? I mean, you're sitting on this bonanza silver. You've been on the project 10 days. What happens next?
So the gold grades go up to 23 grams, which is also spectacular. And then you see these faults coming in on the side of it, peripheral, that are running from 8 to 14% copper. So you're getting everything here. So we think a big precious metal system potentially on top of or beside a huge porphyry deposit. The next step for us is the other half of the 500 sample program we did. You'll see results in the first week of November. Looking forward to hopefully more crazy silver numbers and gold numbers and copper numbers. But no, this really took us by surprise. Being on a project for so quickly, we're still learning what it all means. In this area, we're going to do IP geophysics. This will give us our targets, and we're going to start permitting immediately. Okay. And it will take, we believe, a reasonable expectation, about 6 months to get a permit in this part of Peru. We have another project in Peru.
I was going to say, this is Sombrero is your second project, and that is...
So Sombrero is a copper gold tier 1 exploration project. It's the potential extension of a belt that has 6 world-class mines in it. The big breakthrough there, outside of hundreds of meters of the same grade that's being mined in these huge mines, we're comparing the copper gold swing to Las Bambas. That's the 10th largest copper mine in the world. We've been waiting for permits. We filed them in June. We're about to have a huge turn in our permitting process. We should have a big announcement in November, and we expect to have drill permits in Q1. Our target date is February. The place where we're at with Curibaya is a bit more remote. It's by the coast. It has a different permitting procedure. So our goal next year, as this year was finding tier 1 exploration projects, both base and precious metals, is to be drilling them from February onward. So instead of waiting for drill permits, hearing about these big tier 1 swings, we get to drill tier 1 exploration projects all year next year. So it's an exciting year ahead for us.
You're seeing a bit of love. We were talking off camera. Friday, you had results come out from Curibaya in Nunavut. Yes. And you were saying that you saw the best performance in your stock.
In one day. So what happened, our stock went up 15% on our drill results in Curibaya. If you read the analyst reports, there was a bit of disappointment because our best hole was 30 meters of 0.67 grams per ton. In that part of the world, you got to be 5-6 grams or better, right? We spent $60 million. We spent 5 years here. It's a tier 1 exploration gold swing for high grade. The biggest challenge in this belt has been to target high grade. And if you read our press release, and I think the thing that people may have liked a lot, which we like a lot, it takes us from getting closer to almost there, was we figured out a very strong correlation in our geophysics with the actual targeting of high grade. And it took us a few low-grade things to drill, as you've seen in the last few years, to compare them statistically to the high grade that exists in our Three Bluffs deposit up there, as well as our West Plains drilling that's been happening previous to what we've done here. So now we actually have a geophysical signature, because most of the belt is covered, that shows us what we need to see for high grade. In the first quarter of next year, the world's going to get to see how many of these targets we've been on this 300-kilometer belt that have that same high-grade signature. Again, we got from getting closer to almost there. It was a really small program. The market reacted incredibly. Today we're in the middle of this amazing volatile gold market with all this excitement going around. But getting on to Curibaya and about to drill Sombrero in Peru, I think our venture as a company for 5 years has been to go make a tier 1 discovery. We now have 3 different opportunities to do that, and the silver one took us by surprise, but you couldn't start a project better than 200 gram silver to 14 kilo silver over 50 samples over a big vast area. So it's exciting, it's really exciting.
You said you're going to become a silver guy now. What do you think, just really quickly, the price? I mean, are you, like we saw some big moves in silver recently, not really able to hold on. What are your thoughts on the silver market?
So we have a project that actually has a lot of silver in it in Homestake in Canada. So we know a little bit about it. The move in silver from $14 to $17, $18 is significant, right? I've always respected the robust potential of the silver price to perform in comparison to gold. It has a chance to triple a lot easier, I think, than gold would, right? Because we're stepping on the project today and we're probably drilling it Q3, Q4 next year, I'm encouraged that we're going to be in a much better silver market in 12 months from now when we actually go drill it. So I think the outlook, much like gold, other precious metals, and I actually like copper a lot as well, I think it's incredibly bullish. I wouldn't worry about the near term. I would think more macro, and I'd say we're going into one of the most historic silver markets and gold markets that we'll ever see in our careers while we're still doing this, based on several macro events. But for me, I love the current silver price, but bonanza grade silver works at all silver prices, as you can imagine. So we've kind of got the best of both worlds right now. I have a great outlook on the commodities that we're in, the precious metals in particular, and I plan to learn a lot more about the silver market.
We saw a 20% rally in gold this summer, up 16% on the year right now, but junior explorers haven't really reacted to it. I think it. We need to see bonanza. We need to see a big deposit to really get excitement.
I think there's 2 factors there. Gold moved aggressively in August, and I'm a huge gold bull. I've been for 20 years, and I was not convinced. And it was $15.50 gold, and it felt to me like a bit of an exaggeration in the gold price due to the trade wars, due to the pent-up macro picture for gold. I think there was a bit of a reaction. Where I started to become a gold bull again was when gold held 1,500 and is defending it. That's what got me really excited about this being a real macro picture that's going to work for the gold market. Juniors is really frustrating as an executive and as an entrepreneur in this market, because the first thing shareholders do is look for an immediate overnight reaction. What we're going to see in juniors, in my opinion, we need to see what's happening. Agnico Eagle had record profit the other day, they announced. Yamana double their dividend. I believe First Majestic is about to put out their quarter record production. These are the kind of things that are going to make our industry profitable again. As long as the big companies and the mid-tiers behave with their balance sheets, and I say this with a lot of respect, but the commodity prices are moving, we're going to see the generalists start to come back into the space. You've hit the nail on the head with discovery. It's way harder to make a tier 1 discovery now than it's ever been, because of the $20 billion that was spent in the last 20 years finding the things that stuck out of the ground. The one thing we've done, it's a very hard road, and we have some of the best shareholders in the world, is we've gone to take on these big swings that could bring the whole market back. We've gone from gold up north, copper gold down south, and to get this silver thing that might be silver, copper, gold.
In 10 days, not just get it, you got it in 10 days.
4.5 years negotiating the acquisition. That's a long time, but in 10 days of being on the ground physically, we're seeing this ridiculous grade. So my point is this, is that the big discovery that we're after is really tough to stomach on the way there. But once you start to see these kind of numbers, you see this kind of expression, you're in Peru, which we think is #1 in the world for endowment potential, you get excited. And this is the kind of returns that we're looking for shareholders, but we could ignite the rest of the space. I still don't think that makes it easier to find Curibayas, to find sombreros. I think that's going to be really hard. I actually think 10 years from now, to go find a big deposit is going to be extremely challenging. So we're lucky that we've got here, and we're lucky that most of our shareholders have stayed with us, and we're lucky that we're at the head of a bull market, not at the end of one. So it's exciting times.
Wow, fantastic comments. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your sponsorship.
Oh, my pleasure.
Without you guys, we couldn't have this great content.
Absolutely appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Kitco News. Stay tuned for more from the Silver and Gold Summit in San Francisco.